My keyboard kind of sucks. I also kind of suck at the keyboard. With a little love, I think this keyboard could be great. So what can I do to make this thing easier to use in my workflow and do more cool stuff? My first idea would be to take the audio out of the keyboard and put it into something I already had, like a digital guitar pedal. The idea was simple. I'm using a bunch of stuff I already have, but there were some problems with it. I made this guitar pedal for a college project with a friend, and we set the circuit to take in 1 volt max because that's what a Reddit comment said. The manual of the keyboard claimed that the output of the audio jack was line level. Depending on the product, that peak voltage could be anywhere from 0.5 to 2 volts. So it could work or it could blow up my circuit. It seemed like it was going to take too much time for a kind of underwhelming result if I could get it to work anyway, and the circuit's been sitting in a box and I'm not even sure if it's working anymore. My other idea was to take the MIDI output, which is just the data of the notes you're playing, and I could put that directly into a computer or hook it up to a kind of synth or something. I could use it like a normal synth, or I could just take the MIDI data and use it right directly in a DAW like Ableton or FL Studio. I had a Raspberry Pi for several years that I never did anything with, so I decided that might be a good place to start. After doing some research, I found out that there is an open source synth platform for Raspberry Pi called Zintian, so I decided to try and use that. I tested everything out, and for the first time in my life, it all worked first try. No way! It was that easy? No. Albeit I was using a different MIDI because of one problem I had with the big keyboard. It used a real MIDI cable, which is different than most devices nowadays, which just use a USB to transmit the MIDI data. These MIDI cables are pretty old, so to actually use them, you rather need a MIDI port or some kind of adapter that you can buy online. I thought maybe, just maybe, the 4 years of college I spent could be used to make a circuit that would take the MIDI cable data and transmit it to USB or transmit it to the GPIO on the Raspberry Pi board. After searching around online for a bit, I found a few different circuit diagrams that looked like they would work, but one problem was that they all used a very certain thing called an optocoupler. In another old project from college, I had remembered using them and not knowing what the hell they were. I looked at the two data sheets between the circuit that I found online and the ones that I had, and they seemed pretty different, but I thought maybe if I just went for it, it would do something. So I took out the soldering iron and I went to work. It would be a simple process. Heat up the solder and take out the chip. I had never desoldered before this, so I didn't really actually know if I could do it or not. After trying for a few minutes and getting no results, I decided to call up a friend who's done a lot more electronic stuff than me.
If you had all pins hot at once and you were doing that quite a few times, there's a good chance you burnt it.
It was $10. I just bought one on Amazon. That's just gonna be my hope, because that is fucking plug and play, and we're golden right now. Okay, so this works. It was in to out, which is fucking stupid, but it works. It works.